Hello, welcome to KS Home and Garden. Today I'm going to start doing some additional prep for fall planting. I'm going to be starting some seeds in the trays that you see right there. I just wanted to show you the seed start potting mix that I use is the Miracle Grow brand. I also will use the Espoma brand. I find that either one works. I do like the Miracle Grow, I have to say, a little better, even though I frequently don't like to use products that have fertilizer. That particular seed starting mix has been very good with everything I've tried to start. So I've already set up the trays with the initial bit of the seed starting mix. That's what you're looking at right here in the back. And I do simple labeling. You may not be able to see it, but I have names on there. So I'm going to be starting some Bibb lettuce, Black Simpson. I'm going to be starting some Chinese cabbage, also known as Michelini. And I'm going to start some Pak Choi. The one thing that is questionable is the Pak Choi, or Pak Choi. And the reason I say that is because that bolts relatively quickly. But I'm hoping that since our weather is looking like it's going to actually stay in the 80s at the max for the rest of August, that will be okay, because it actually looks like low 80s, which is pretty good, you know. So the pak choi should be good with that. The lettuces will be good, and I feel comfortable with the Chinese cabbage. I also have some additional mix that I just pre-wet a little bit just now. The mix that is actually inside of those trays actually soaked up the moisture overnight. So let me also show you the seeds. So these are seeds I had before. So that is the Bibb lettuce that I'm going to use. This is the Chinese cabbage, the Michelini. This is the black seeded Simpson lettuce. And here is the pak choi. So I just realized myself. Let's see. This is actually, let's see, 3 of the seeds, all of them except for the Michelini are burpee seeds, and the Michelini, that's Ferry Morse. That's really because I really just look for what I want, and I get the best price on the seeds, because I found that I can get seeds from anywhere: dollar store, Walmart, you know, your local store. We even have a place called the Christmas Tree Store, believe it or not, in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, not far from me, which has a great selection of seeds if you happen to live in that area, that are priced well. So I find that, you know, the seeds, as long as they're good, they're going to sprout. Now, of course, there are certain places where you can get more specialized seeds. You know, for instance, I do buy seeds at a website called rareseeds.com. You could check them out. But right now, let's get started. This is going to be pretty simple and straightforward. I didn't want to put you through all of the hassle of watching me, you know, put seed starting mix in the tray, because I think that's a waste of time. The only thing that is additional, in the original mix, I actually put some of my worm castings in, because that seems to help a lot. And now I'm just going to start putting in some seeds. Okay, let's put a little more of this mix up there on top. All of that there. So I want you all to see that this is not at all a complicated process. It requires some thought as to when you do it, because these, as you probably have gathered, because this is a fall planting, are cool season crops. That is why I'm starting these on July 31st. The other thing to know is that all of those seeds have a maturation time of approximately 70 days. So they're all between 70 and 75 days. And since we've been lucky enough to not really cool off, it's supposed to be normally first frost date around October 15th, but for the last couple of years it's really been closer to November. So these should have a good start before that time. Now let's drop some seeds in. So I put, I grab a few seeds here, and I usually put 2 or 3 in each little compartment here. So this is the black seeded Simpson. Okay. Now the burpee. We're going to put the Bibb lettuce. This actually is my favorite lettuce. This actually is my favorite lettuce. I moved a little closer because I don't know if the volume is low. I like this because it has a good texture, very good flavor. And prior to actually growing food, I never actually ate Bibb lettuce unless it was in a mix, and I probably wouldn't have known exactly what it was. So let's drop some of these seeds in. Next up is the pak choi. And last of all is the Michelini, the Chinese cabbage. So you'll probably notice that I did put in more than 3 seeds in some of the trays, but that's fine because I will either make space for them in the beds where I'm going to plant them, or pots, because I could use either, or I'll just let them grow here and I'll eat them as baby lettuce. So now let's cover up with some soil, or I shouldn't say soil, let's cover up with some of the seed starting mix. And yes, I'm using gloves because I'm trying not to get so dirty this morning. Normally I like to play in the dirt, but I have some things to do, so here we go. Now you notice that I am making sure that I don't have soil. I keep saying soil, that I don't have any of the seed starting mix on the little separation points. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to end up not knowing what's actually in each of these trays, each of these cells. And I'm trying to avoid having any of the seeds actually germinate near the edge. Some will, but I'll have enough in the middle that I'll be fine. Now let's water a little bit. Now, just checking to see if any seeds are in here before I toss it in the batch, because when I use that seed starting mix someplace else, that could come up. But which wouldn't be a terrible thing. But I prefer that it's not. And that's it. As you see, there's no magic here. This is pretty simple and straightforward. And look at that. The sun comes out right on time. And our high temperatures are supposed to be about 82 today. So I'm expecting, if things go as they normally do, that this is July 1st. I don't know why I want it to be July 1st. It is July 31st. So I'm expecting, and it is a Monday, so I'm expecting to see seeds up in most or all of these trays within a week. Some actually might sprout up within a day or two with this weather. So there we go. We've started some seeds using our Burpee and Ferry-Morse seeds and using our Seed Start potting mix. Here's a bed that originally actually had it was 6 inches and 6 inches high and 4 by 4. This actually has lots of clay. A lot of the clay's been broken down over time. Underneath, I put a good deal of organic material, like for instance this Brussels sprouts plant that's just sitting there. What I'm probably going to do is, after I drop the seeds in here, the seeds, by the way, are going to be daikon radishes, and the reason I'm planting those is to actually let them stay over the winter so that they can break down, add some more organic material, and hopefully soften this up. I can grow here, but I'm trying to see if using the daikon radishes actually has the effect that lots of folks say, which is to break up clay soil. And I want to see if I can actually plant crops that will grow a bit deeper. I've had kale grow here. You see right there, volunteer mustard green plant. And that plant, I'm going to let go to seed, let it drop the seeds. I was going to eat that, but I decided to just let it grow. I may take a leaf or two off and see if they're bitter or not, because I really do enjoy the taste of it. So now, let me show you how I get the seeds in there the lazy way. Okay, if you look, you'll see a little tool here. That is my dibbler, provided by nature. That's actually the stalk of, if I remember correctly, of a kale plant. So that's what I used to poke holes in different places. I didn't really try to put them in any specific order. I just wanted to get some seeds in. So now let me show you how I'm going to get those seeds in. Here's my tool. It's a piece of PVC. I'll use this, if I want to put some netting or if I want to put up shade cloth. But what this will allow me to do is put it right at the holes, drop the seed through the top, then I'll use it to cover up the seed and I won't have to do a lot of bending. So here we go. Now I'll continue to do the rest of the bed, but you get the idea. This is pretty simple, isn't it? And now I'll just cover them up a bit. As you see, I don't have a real scientific method to do this, And if you notice, I didn't look at the seed pack to see how far they should be buried or any of that. I generally just go by the size of the seed. You'll get pretty good at being able to tell whether or not you need to cover your seeds a little, a lot, and bury them deeply, like something like bean seeds need to go down, an inch or two, just by the size of the seed. So now we have those planted. I have another little area out of the camera view to cover up. And by the way, this is also a bed where I already have organic material below, which isn't really necessary, and too much nitrogen wouldn't work well for the daikon radishes, but that should break it down. You'll also notice I have weeds, so I've lately started to learn, like, that's, I guess, crabgrass or some other grass there. Learn that, there are weeds that are very, very beneficial. Like, I'll leaf clover. I'll drop it right on the bed because that would put some nitrogen in here as it rains or as I water and it breaks down. Okay, let me cover up the rest and then water, and then the daikon radishes are set. And by the way, that's all that's going in this bed. And now let's water it in, and then, using the name of a channel that I watch sometimes where I get some good information, it's going to be Easy Peasy. You got to check that out too. Easy Peasy Gardening. There's some good stuff there. They're actually in India, but the techniques work well. You just may have to modify it for your region. Now let's water this in. I watered this pretty well because this area dries out, but below, one advantage of the clay below is that it holds moisture. And that's it. Daikon radishes are planted.